Welcome to Psychic Insights, where pop culture meets higher consciousness and the tea is always a little bit mystical. I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and around here we don't just watch the drama unfold, we read the energy behind it, whether it's celebrity scandals, reality TV, chaos, or true crime with a twist. I'm tuning in to bring you the intuitive scoop the headlines miss. So buckle up, because your aura's about to get entertained. Welcome back to my channel. It's Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend. And today we are looking at the Nancy Guthrie case. Now, this case has been baffling, lots of commentary on it, and I'm going to add mine. Remember, these are my insights, my psychic insights, my thoughts, my comments, and it's for entertainment purposes only. Thank you for being here, supporting my work, and if you would do me a solid favor by liking, subscribing, and ringing that bell, and even making a comment or two, I would appreciate it. So when I first started with this case and I was following it, like most people, it was freaking baffling, as usual. But I didn't want to jump to a conclusion. I wanted to be sensitive to the family and, so I wanted to ask some clear questions because at this point, I think it's like about 60 days into this. Nancy Guthrie is Savannah Guthrie's mother, and she went missing. And since then, it doesn't seem like there has been much movement in this case. And I think it's been really frustrating for people. So the first question I asked was, what might the outcome of this case be? And will she be found? And what came through right away was not very simple or clean. And the energy did not feel resolved, which makes sense. Didn't feel closed. It felt layered, delayed, and obviously emotionally heavy. I kept seeing that what happened here may have started in a way that looked calm and ordinary on the surface, but something shifted quietly and then became harder to trace. And there's also a strong sense that movement took place, and that movement led to a situation that felt isolated, restricted, or hard to access. So right away, the energy suggested to me that this was never going to be a quick answer case. It felt like something had been missed, misunderstood, or not fully connected yet. The next thing I wanted to understand was whether the place or situation around her was being seen clearly. What came through was confusion, fog, misdirection. The energy around the location or surrounding circumstances did not feel straightforward. It felt like people may be looking through the wrong lens or assuming something that is only partially true. And I kept getting the sense that this story that's being told about this case may not fully match what actually happened. And I think there's been chatter around that. There's a difference between having information and understanding information, and that felt really important here. The impression was that the truth is obscured, not because it's impossible to find, but because it's being misread. Now, I asked more questions, more urgent question, which was essentially, where should our attention go? And that answer came through much more directly. The energy pointed to something deceptive, off, or twisted in the narrative. Not necessarily in a dramatic way, but in a way where something doesn't quite add up. And it also pointed to an environment that feels fluid, shifting, or difficult to pin down. And that can sometimes suggest movement, open areas, changing conditions, even places connected to water or resources. And most importantly, the energy said that there is a real answer here. There is a way through this, and there is something that unlocks the situation, but attention has to shift towards the part that feels slightly off. So then I asked, what exactly is being missed? What is the overlooked detail? Now, this one was the clearest answers in the reading, and what came through was that the missing piece is not some giant, obvious clue. It's a small but crucial detail that has been brushed aside, minimized, or slowly lost in the noise of everything else. And once that detail is recognized for what it really means, the whole direction of this case changes very quickly. It felt like one of those moments where once you see it, you can't unsee it. The energy around that was sharp, decisive, almost like the truth cuts through the confusion all at once. All right, so after that, I wanted to know a little bit more about the nature of that overlooked detail. And this is where the reading became much more personal. And what came through did not feel random or distant. It felt connected to someone known, someone familiar, someone emotionally linked to her. And there was also a sense that this connection may involve a person who is older, long-standing, trusted, or perceived as stable. That doesn't automatically mean guilt or wrongdoing. And I want to be careful about that because it does suggest that the missing thread is connected to a person or relationship that may not have been examined deeply enough because it felt safe, normal, or already understood. So naturally, the next question became, what role does this person play? And the answer there pointed strongly toward information, communication, or something documented. And I kept getting the impression that this person's role is tied to messages, records, exchanges, or information connected to a man. And that information is important because it leads to clarity. It felt like something already existed that could help unlock the truth. Not something that has to be invented, but something that may need to be revisited, reread, or looked through a different lens. Maybe it's a conversation, a written exchange, a message trail, or some kind of documented connection that felt very relevant here. So when I step back and look at the sequence of what came through, this is the story the energy is telling me. This case does not feel closed. It feels delayed or obstructed. There is emotional weight here and there are real barriers, but there's also still movement around the truth. And the strongest message throughout this reading is that something important has been misunderstood, not absent, misunderstood. And a small but significant detail appears to have been overlooked, and that detail is connected to a familiar person or relationship. There also seems to be communication or documented information involving a man that may help bring clarity. And to me, this says that the answer may not be far away in the way people think. It may already be somewhere in the existing story, existing information, or existing relationships, but it hasn't been fully recognized for what it means yet. And that's where I would keep looking. And if you like this kind of detail or insights, like a follow, make a comment. What do you think? And especially you intuitives out there, and I know there's many of you that love to follow true crime. Give me your thoughts. I wanted to take some distance from this case just because, I wanted to be sensitive to it, and I wanted to ask the right questions. So if there are other questions that you think should be asked, let's do it. Let's do it, work together, and see if intuitively that we can come up with something a little bit more clearer, I guess, about what's happening next in this case. So again, true crime is an interesting thing, and these involve real people, and I want to be sensitive to that. So make sure you're kind. And hey, you know what? I saw this on another channel. Do something kind for someone today. Maybe it's a smile. Maybe it's, a compliment. Maybe it's something even bigger than that. Because we are here to take care of each other, really. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for listening.